friend. It's been a while. Welcome back. Hopefully, you're happy to hear from me. Whether or not that will remain the case as this goes on is yet to be seen. So I've spent the time away trying to determine what we were going to talk about, the direction we were going to go in, and I think I've landed on what a lot of people, myself included, would define as low-hanging fruit. I'm sure some of you are getting an inkling now. If you've listened to any of the previous episodes, where that direction may be going. Recently in the news, there has been a lot of hubbub, air quotes, hubbub, regarding Jimmy Kimmel and him being removed from the air and demands being placed in order for him to get back on the air. And I think that is a catalyst for kind of the direction we're going to take with this. Now, let's spend a couple seconds or minutes talking about that situation that Jimmy Kimmel, a late night talk show host, in his monologue makes some comments that are thin-skinned man-child of a president who acts more like a Timu Bond villain than he does the commander-in-chief, doesn't like. So he deploys his henchmen to put pressure on Disney/ABC to do something about the fact that Jimmy Kimmel is not talking nicely about him. So had Disney made the decision to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air because they disagreed with his position or presentation, that's fine, right? We live in a world where contracts can have language that has morality clauses or ambiguous verbiage that allows the quote employer contractor to terminate a contract. Or if you are a direct line employee, as there has been substantial backlash / commentary about regular employees being terminated, nurses, teachers, Sally Sue, the waitress, whatever the case is, for social media posts or commentary and their employers terminating their employment based on that. The reality is you have some states that are right to work states. Virginia is one of those where you can be terminated for no cause, right? The employer can make the decision to say, I just don't want you to be here anymore. Had that been the case, I don't think I personally would have an issue with Jimmy Kimmel being taken off the air. The reality is that Disney did nothing until the FCC decided to say, you do something or we'll do something to you. Heavy-handed tactics by the government to silence people speaking out or with an opinion that is counter to that of the office of the president goes against everything we as a society are built on. The beauty of platforms such as this is I can't be bullied. I am the boss. I am not going to be inciting riots or making any kind of calls to violence or things of that nature. So there would be no reason for anyone to come in and say what I'm doing is a violation of any law. And I think we're in a place now where there are so many avenues for people to express their views that in the case of Jimmy Kimmel, if he never makes it back onto broadcast airwaves anywhere ever again, I think he'll be fine. He has millions upon millions of fans. Disclaimer, I don't know that I would call myself one. Didn't really on a regular basis watch Jimmy Kimmel's show. Not my bag of tea. But again, he has millions of fans. There are platforms where he can still connect with those fans. So all the outcome here is you've taken him off of a broadcast platform that theoretically is dying in today's society anyway. So it's not really about the act of the removal. Again, had the removal been a decision made by Disney independently, I don't think it would be an issue. Had the removal been due to backlash by the public and thereby no longer watching and tanking the ratings, I don't think it would have been an issue. It's the problem that the office of the president did not like the fact that somebody was talking about him in a way that he didn't appreciate or find to be kind. So he deployed his thugs to pressure people to make a change. And this is not the first time that this has happened. He has attempted to leverage the power of his office in any number of scenarios since he's taken office. And I think the true nature of Donald Trump, again, in my opinion, a thin-skinned man-child, please don't talk bad about me, they don't like me, right, has come out. And we have nobody to blame but ourselves. We did this as a nation. Whether you voted for him or not, we are a nation. It was our collective voice that put him in power, and now we get to live with the shit show that goes along with it. So, all of that being said, as a preamble, ramble, as it were, to lay the foundation for where we're going to go and what we're going to hear and how we're going to approach this. And it's going to be slightly different than previous iterations. This is not about personal development, professional development, self-help. This is not a conversation as you can hear. It is back to just me. There is no co-host. This is very much a op-ed platform for this round of episodes with a slightly different twist of embracing a different side of my personality. The curmudgeon-y old man in me is coming out, and we're going to take this as an opportunity for me to bitch and moan and groan about some things. And again, some of you are going to like it. Some of you aren't. We're probably going to lose people that listen because some of my ranting and my call outs are going to hit real close to home for people that I think have listened to this. And that's okay. I understand and accept that going in, that the audience may shift. And I'm fine with that. So here we go. Let's get into it. Pull up a patch of grass, settle in, open your mind. The other night, and I guess in fairness, every day since our new president took office, I, as many other people listening right now, spend time scrolling timelines in different social media outlets, whether that be Facebook, X, Instagram, insert your poison here. I know, not a great life choice. Doom scrolling, definitely not attached to my generation, but here we are doing it anyway. And I've been taken aback by what I see. There's people inundating my timelines that defend every single decision President Trump has made since day one. And to be fair, I want to be clear about this. I'm not talking about fringe internet trolls. I'm talking about people, your accountant, business owners, community leaders. My buddy, air quotes, Bob, names have been changed to protect the innocent, or not so innocent as the case may be. These are folks who used to have nuanced opinions about everything from restaurant choices to sports trades. But somehow, one human being became incapable of error. Now, before you start typing angry emails to me or using all caps and bold in the comments, screaming at your stereo or your phone that I'm some liberal hack, pump your brakes, calm the fuck down. I believe in conservative principles. Pretty much my whole life, I would have told you I aligned more as a Republican in the last 10, 15 years, probably more independent conservative than Republican, just because the whole bipartisan concept does not make sense to me any longer. But somewhere along the way, a bunch of people that I know and respect turned into human echo chambers. And it's driving me absolutely insane. Now, this is not partisan hackery. This is me trying to figure out when independent thinking died. What exactly is it that I'm talking about here? So there's a psychological mystery of watching smart people suddenly lose the ability to find fault with anything. And I mean anything that comes from one particular person. So my hypothetical friend Bob used to complain about politicians all the time. Obama's executive overreach one week, some Republican stupid tweet the next. Bob had opinions. They were messy. They were contradictory, but they were human opinions. He'd say things like, I like his policies, but the guy needs to stay off social media. Or, good idea, terrible execution. But somewhere along the way, Bob stopped having mixed feelings about anything political, and he joined the 100% Club. Remember when all those people who agree and support everything had mixed feelings about whether it be Bush or Obama or Biden or Clinton, their governor, even their mayor? They'd support the war but criticize the communication strategy. They'd like a policy but hate how it was rolled out. They were, for lack of a better term, normal. Now they somehow have achieved perfect ideological alignment with another human being. I need you to think about that for a second. perfect alignment with anyone about everything. You know what the odds are of agreeing with your spouse on everything? Your best friend? Your business partner? 0. Because you're different people with different experiences and different perspectives. It is unrealistic to believe that you would agree on everything. But the 100% Club members, they've cracked the code. They found the one person who's never wrong about anything. Foreign policy, domestic policy, personal decisions, social media strategy, legal strategy. This guy has a perfect batting average across the board. He is a modern day Messiah. He walks on water. He can do no wrong. Why is it happening? How is it that you have people that just can't find fault? Hank Aaron, arguably the greatest hitter of all time, failed to get a hit 60% of the time. He is a legend specifically because of his success rate. And it was only 40% of the time that he got a hit. 60% of the time, he failed. But we're supposed to believe that our current commander-in-chief bats 1,000 on everything. It's just not humanly possible. And for those of you that fall into that category, that's not loyalty, that's intellectual surrender. So let's talk about some specific examples, because this isn't a theoretical exercise anymore. The January 6 pardons. So Trump issued blanket pardons for all individuals convicted of offenses related to January 6th. Included in that were defendants with separate criminal records involving rape and domestic violence. Look, I get supporting presidential pardon power. I may not like it, right? I think we could all point at previous pardons that were definitely motivated by things other than whether or not the person deserved to be a pardon or not, be pardoned or not, rather. I even get people who believe that some January 6th prosecutions went too far. I probably fall into that category. But all of them, even those convicted of violently assaulting police officers, when did nuance become treason? Any reasonable person might say, I support most of these pardons, but maybe the guy who beat a cop unconscious with a flagpole should finish his sentence. But 100% members can't say that. They have to defend everything or risk their membership in the club. The math just ain't mathing, people. The approval rating paradox right now, Trump's approval rating stands at 40%, with Americans mostly disapproving of his tariffs and government cuts. Yet I know people defending every single policy. If 60% of Americans disapprove of his performance, how is it 100% of the Trump-supporting 100% club members agree with 100% of what he does? Statistically, that's not possible unless they're actually not thinking. So either my friends are the most perfectly aligned political sample, or they've stopped having independent thoughts. I'm betting it's door number 2. How about this one? NIH research funding cap. This one is fun because it's boring, right? This is technical stuff that affects medical research. It's not a cultural war angle. It's just policy. A federal judge blocked Trump's proposed 15% cap on indirect cost reimbursements for NIH grants. It's a wonky policy that would hurt medical research funding. I guarantee you, people who couldn't explain what indirect cost reimbursements are will defend Trump's policy attempt to the death. Why? Because defending everything is easier than thinking about anything. So what's the psychology behind this? Why do smart people do this? Because it's actually easier than the alternative. Team loyalty overrides individual judgment. Once you pick a team, evaluating every individual play becomes exhausting. It's easier just to cheer for everything they do. Social pressure within their circle, such as the 100% Club, makes independent thinking socially expensive. There's the sunk cost fallacy. If you defended 99 decisions, admitting the 100th was wrong feels like you're admitting you were a sucker all along. It's mentally draining to have opinions about everything. It's much easier to adopt someone else's entire worldview wholesale. But here's what 100% Club members don't realize. They've stopped being citizens and started being fans. And fans don't hold their teams accountable. The difference between a citizen and a fan is that a citizen asks, is this good for the country? A fan asks, is this good for my team? And when you stop asking the first question, you stop being a participant in democracy and you become a spectator cheering from the stands. So here's my challenge to you coming out of this episode. And this isn't just for Trump supporters. This goes for anyone who's found themselves in a 100% Club, for any politician or religious leader, anything. I'm not asking you to change your political affiliation. I'm not asking you to oppose Trump. I'm asking for one thing and one thing only. Find just one policy, one statement, one decision where you can say, you know what? I think they got that one wrong. Show me you're still thinking independently. Show me you haven't joined a cult of personality. Because if you can't do that, if you literally can't not find one single thing to criticize about any human being's performance in office, then you're not supporting a leader anymore. You're worshiping one. And that's not what free citizens in a democracy are supposed to do. We need people who can say, I support him overall, but that decision was a mistake. Or I agree with the policy, but the execution was terrible. Or even, that tweet was fucking dumb. Normal human independent thoughts from normal human independent citizens. Until we get back to that, we're just a bunch of rival fan clubs screaming at each other while the country falls apart around us. Think for yourselves, people. Question everything, especially the stuff you want to believe. Now get off my lawn.